Yes friends, welcome once again to my channel, and today we will discuss that how to choose an optional while preparing for UPSC CSE. Okay, that is how to choose an optional. Okay, how to choose an optional while preparing for civil services examination, that is your UPSC. Okay, regarding the state PCS, I don't know anything. Okay, but as far as UPSC is concerned, I can surely guide you that how to choose an optional in civil services exam or forest services exam, because civil services exams and forest services exam is near about the same. Okay, so choosing an optional is easy. Okay, what you have to do is that first of all, see your interest. Okay, see your interest. Point number one is that see your interest, whether you are interested in that subject or not. Suppose your friend says that this particular optional is not good, you can never get marks in it. Okay, so there is a lot of hoax in Delhi which is going on. Okay, that in every optional there are some people who are always crying that we don't get marks at all in this particular optional. Okay, so if we keep apart those crying people, let me tell you that it is possible with every optional. Okay, it is possible to crack UPSC. It is possible to crack by taking any optional. Okay, by taking any optional out of the 48 optionals available. Okay, it is possible to crack UPSC by taking any optional. Okay, any optional. No matter how rare is the optional, no matter how less its teachers are. Okay, less teachers and etc, many things are there. Okay, so even if the optional is rare but you have interest in it, suppose I will tell you the name of one of the rarest optional. Okay, very rare optional, Sanskrit literature optional. Okay, Sanskrit literature, some people take this as their optional, very few people. Okay, Sanskrit literature optional, suppose someone takes this. So do you think cracking UPSC is possible? Yes, it is possible. It is possible to crack UPSC with this optional also. So the only thing is that you will have to look at your interest. Just leave apart all those things that my particular friend has taken history as an optional subject, so I will also take history, or someone has taken PSIR as their optional subject, so I will also take PSIR. Never fall in those traps. Okay, only thing is that you will have to choose it yourself. Okay, so if suppose you are in Delhi offline. Okay, if you are suppose in Delhi offline, then what happens? In the offline coaching of Delhi, you cannot try any class. Okay, the benefits which we have with Unacademy. Okay, some students were telling me that Unacademy is really good. So why it is good? Not only that, because it is providing quality, but also because one of the my students had joined Unacademy, and he told me that I tried every optional on Unacademy. Okay, and then came to physics. Okay, I tried every optional that was there. Okay, so on an online platform like Unacademy, you can take the optional subscription and choose your optional by taking the class, seeing the sample. Okay, so if you are not in online mode, suppose if you are not there in online giant, if you are in offline, then how to choose an optional? It is very easy. In the offline mode, if you want to choose an optional and you are confused, suppose, so if you are from science background, suppose I am telling you, if you are from science background and suppose you were scoring above 75% or 70%, let's say. Suppose you were scoring, or let's say 65, okay, not 70 75, even 65 will work, okay. If you were scoring above 65% in your, if you are from science background such as engineering or BSc, MSc, etc., so if you were scoring above 65% in PG or undergrads, okay, in UG or PG, whatever. If you have not done any PG, then in undergraduate, okay, in a graduation, if you were scoring above 65% with science background, then you should always take science optionals. Then only choose science optionals. Never go for humanities optionals, okay. Then only choose science optionals, because science optional have an age. It's not because I am a science optional teacher, that's why I am telling things. It's not like that, okay. Science optionals have an age, okay. They have an age over other optionals, because in science optionals the answer is fixed. The final answer is fixed. If suppose in physics or maths or anything, if some derivation has come, then the answer will be fixed. So more or less the steps will be fixed. So examiner will do objective marking, okay. But in humanities background, humanities optional, what happens is that there is a lot of ideological conflict also. There is a lot of presentation issue also, okay, in the humanities optional. So if you are from science background and if you were scoring above 65% in your UG and PG, then you should always take science optionals, okay. Never go by the hoax in Delhi that you should not take science optionals. In Delhi a lot of hoax is there about the science optionals. मतलब वो बोलते हैं ना हिंदी में हवा बना के रखा हुआ है, ठीक है ना. So people have made it a complete what we can say hyperbole that science background people cannot qualify UPSC or something like that, okay. So those, it is merely a myth, okay. It is a myth that science background people cannot qualify UPSC. It is a myth. But some people ask me that why science optional people are not seen very often. Why science optional people like maths optional, physics optional, chemistry optional, aeronautics engineering optional, chemical engineering optional, then you have electrical engineering optional. Why these people are very few? Why science background people are not seen in the top AIR 1 to 100? Why they are not seen? The reason is that people taking science optionals are very few. Very few people take science optionals. People usually take humanities optional because of the hoax that science optionals are tougher. It is a hoax, that's why. So that's why science optional people, as the number of aspirants are few, so in AIR 1 to 100 the number of aspirants with science as their optionals are very few. But the thing is that the success rate, okay, success rate for science optionals, is greater than success rate for humanities optional. This is a fact, okay. Success rate for science optional is greater than success rate for humanities optional. This is a fact, okay. This you can see in every year result. You can see this in every year you can see this, okay. Now But if you are suppose from humanities background means your undergraduation was in humanities, means you had graduated in history, suppose you had graduated in history, suppose, or suppose you had post graduated in history, or suppose if you have graduated in literature, something like that. So you are from humanities background, you are not from science background, then what will happen? Then certainly you should not choose science optional. Then if you are a humanities graduate or postgraduate, never take science optionals. Okay, never take science optionals. Okay, this is a fact. You should not take science optional if you are a humanities graduate or postgraduate, because you have not spent enough time with that subject. Okay, what blunder some people do? Okay, blunder blunder made by some people. They had they had they had science up to 12th, but graduation or graduation or post graduation. Okay, graduation or post graduation is not in science field. Okay, blunder made by some people is that they had science up to 12th standard, but graduation or PG is not in science field. Okay, still they take science optional. Never commit this blunder. This is a blunder made by some people. Okay, that they had only up to the 12th standard they had science in their curriculum, and after 12th standard they had quit science. Okay, but now as the UPSC is more rewarding in science optionals, so that's why they are planning to take now science optional, because they had suppose someone had maths up to the 12th standard, or someone had physics up to the 12th standard, and he or she wants to take now and he or she now wants to take the same optional which she had up to the 12th standard now in UPSC. But the fact is that in graduation and post graduation, maths was not at all there in her curriculum, because she had graduated in suppose history. So in that particular case, never make this blunder, that never take science optional in that case, because it will backfire you, because you have already left the touch with the subject, because you had passed 12th standard in very long time ago. Okay, so most of the basics you must have forgotten, because those people who have graduated in maths or graduated in or had engineering, those people were in touch with the science. Okay, those people were in touch with science, but your graduation field is history. So you should never take science optional then, even if you had up to the 12th that subject, because it will backfire you. It will backfire you. This is a fact, because those people who had graduated in maths itself, those people will have edge over you. Those people will have edge over you, right? They will perform better than you, right? So never commit this blunder. Okay, and those science background people, science background people, for science background people I am telling this, that if you were scoring above 65% in your PG and UG and you are from science background, you had scored above 65% in UG or PG, then 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 you should take science only as your optional, never take humanities as your optional. But suppose a student is there, he was from science background, suppose, but the problem is that in the science field, suppose someone was doing BSc mathematics honors, BSc mathematics honors someone was doing, and then he did MSc in mathematics, okay, someone is there, suppose, but suppose he was failing again and again, suppose he was failing again and again in his UG and PG in the math subject, okay, although he is from maths background, but his maths is very weak because he was failing in every semester, okay, he has to give 2 or 3 attempts in every semester in order to pass, okay, so he has passed in on boundary, okay. So in that case, if you had a lot of backs in your PG and UG in your field, suppose you are doing BSc mathematics honors, in first semester you failed, in second semester you failed, in third semester you failed, in fourth semester you failed, like that, then in that particular case you should never take science optional, you should go for humanities optional, despite you are, although you are from science field, still you should take humanities optional if you were a failure in your UG and PG. Suppose you are a science background student and you were a failure in UG and PG in the science subject, then you should take humanities optional, never go for science optional then. But if you were scoring above 65% in your science optional in UG and PG, then in that particular case, as your score was above 65%, you should take science optional in UPSC also, okay. So this is a thing which I am going to tell you. And never go in all those stuff. A lot of people keep on saying, अरे यार हिस्ट्री ऑप्शनल में तो मार्क्स ही नहीं आते, अरे यार मैथ्स ऑप्शनल में तो मार्क्स ही नहीं आते. In every optional some people will cry like this, that in this particular optional I don't get marks at all, okay. In every optional, even if you go in Hindi literature optional, some people will tell you that अबे ये ऑप्शनल क्यों लिया बे तूने, क्यों लिया ये ऑप्शनल, इसमें तो मार्क्स ही नहीं आते. Some people will always say all those things, okay, that in this subject you don't get marks or something like that. In every optional people will say that. So never go into all those stuff, okay, that this particular optional you should not take, that particular optional you should not take. Once upon a time I had a polity teacher. Once upon a time when I was giving UPSC in 2011, at that time there was a polity teacher, okay, which institute I don't remember, okay, which institute means I was studying in Drishti IS in the 2011 attempt of my UPSC. I was studying in Drishti IS. So I don't want to take the name of that polity teacher, but that polity teacher told me that never take geography as your optional subject, because I have always seen geography people failing badly, he had told us, okay. So never fall in all these traps. If you are interested in geography, then just because someone has said based on his or her experience that this optional is bad, just because someone had said that this optional is bad based on his or her experience, just based on that never go into the conclusion that I will not take this optional or that optional. So very first point is that you must have interest for that optional and you must be good at it. Only two conditions are there for choosing an optional. You must have interest in that optional and you should have teacher for that optional, okay. Only two conditions are there. You must have interest, you must be expert in it, and teacher must be available for that optional. For example, I had told you one optional, Sanskrit literature optional, okay. I had told you one optional over here, Sanskrit literature optional, right? Where? over here. I told you, right? So Sanskrit literature optional, if someone wants to take, he has interest in Sanskrit. Suppose someone has interest in Sanskrit and he wants to take Sanskrit literature optional, but suppose there are no teacher available at all. In Delhi also, suppose there are no teachers. In all over India, if there are no teachers at all for Sanskrit literature optional, then you should never take that optional, because no teachers are available, although you have interest. Okay, although you have interest, but teachers are not at all available. So you should never take such optionals for which teachers are not available, because based on self study you cannot qualify. Based on self study you cannot qualify UPSC. This is a blatant fact. Okay, you will always need some guidance. Okay, so such rarest of rare optional such as Sanskrit literature optional or animal husbandry optional, if suppose no teacher is available in Delhi for them, then what to do? Then never take such optional. So take some parallel optional, similar optional. For example, Sanskrit literature optional you were having, you want to take, then no teachers are available. If you have interest in Sanskrit, then go for Hindi literature optional instead of Sanskrit literature optional. Go for Hindi literature optional, because a person having interest in Sanskrit will also get interest in Hindi, because Hindi is derived from Sanskrit. So go for Hindi literature optional, because lot of teachers are available for Hindi literature optional. Got it? So those optional for which teachers are not available at all, those optional you should never take, because you can't get the practice questions, you can't get the what we can say, guidance, enough guidance how to write answer, and all those guidance you will not get. Okay, so that's the thing. So hopefully this satisfies your curiosity that how to take an optional. Only three conditions are there. Number one, you must have interest in that optional. Condition number two, condition one is you should have interest. Condition number two, the condition number two is that you must be good at it, you must be expert at it. Okay, this is condition number two. And the third condition is that teachers must be available for that optional. Third condition is that teachers must be available for that optional. If no teachers are available for that optional, because that optional is rare, then go for a parallel optional. For example, you had interest in Sanskrit, you were planning to take Sanskrit literature optional, but no teacher is available in Delhi or anywhere around this planet. Okay, then you should never take Sanskrit literature optional, you should instead switch over to Hindi literature optional. Okay, because both are similar only. So a person having interest in Sanskrit will have interest in Hindi also. So lot of teachers are available for Hindi literature optional, so you should go for it. Okay, that's what I mean. Okay, so hopefully you got the complete idea. Okay, and which subjects do I teach? Okay, which subjects do I teach? Which subjects do I teach? So I teach physics optional, for UPSC. I teach maths optional for UPSC. Okay, maths optional, and I teach chemistry optional also. Okay, although I have taught GS also, but from past 6 years I am not in touch with the GS part. Okay, I am not in touch with the GS for past 6 years, so that's why I cannot guide you with the GS now at present. Okay, these are my field of expertise. Okay, I am an expert in this: physics optional, maths optional, and chemistry optional. Okay, I have taught GS also in Delhi offline, but I am not an expert in GS. Okay, not an expert because I am not in touch with it. Okay, I am not an expert in GS because I am not in touch with it. That's why I am not an expert, because all my time is gone in these three optionals, so I have left those subjects. Okay, although I can teach, but I don't want to teach right now. I will be overloaded instead. Okay, so that's the thing. So thank you very much.